Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. I am here on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, enjoying my nice banana and peanut butter smoothie. I just got done with a little bit of a workout, and I wanted something with some protein in it that's, going to help, build the muscles. And usually I'll go with like eggs, oatmeal, something like that. I want to try something different. Now I thought about a peanut butter banana shake, but when I came home I realized I didn't have any vanilla ice cream. I had like Reese's peanut butter ice cream that Lisa had bought, which I guess could have sufficed, but it wasn't my cup of tea. So I just put some ice and some peanut butter and some bananas into the blender, and out came this little smoothie. It's actually not bad. Hold on. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it's not the best, but I think it's doing the job pretty well. But I'll sip on it as we go along, and then you comment back and let me know if you think it tastes disgusting or not. But getting on to the show, I'm going to do a quick little review of this movie, Valerian and a City of a Thousand Planets. The film came out back on Friday or maybe Thursday night. I'm not sure. And it didn't get quite the gross numbers that the studio was expecting. It came out with a budget of, let's see here, $177 million. The film in its opening weekend made $17 million, which is not good, considering most movies make a majority of their take from that first weekend. Now, as of right now, Thursday, did I say Wednesday before? It's Thursday, losing track of my days. But as of Thursday, it's ranked $21 million. Still not a great haul, but we'll see because it hasn't opened in foreign market. And I feel like this is the kind of film that's going to do a lot better overseas than it does here domestically in the States. But we'll just have to wait to see about that. I went and saw the film a couple days ago, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because it was a film that, looking at the previews, was right up my alley. It was very much heavy sci-fi, heavy action, two characters that have a lot of banter going back and forth. It's something I thought I was going to look forward to. So Tuesday, I went and saw it, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't exactly the best either. So I'm just going to elaborate on a couple things here. If you've seen the movie, you fire back. Let me know what you thought, and we'll get this going. So starting off, for those of you who don't know, Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets, based off a French graphic novel that's been going on since the 70s. I actually checked out a little bit of the graphic novels, and it wasn't up my alley. The artwork got me off, the dialogue, it's just how it is with older comics. They're not as modern dialogue, I guess, what we're used to, a little less sophisticated, in my opinion. So I checked it out. Didn't get me any more excited for the movie. So Tuesday, I had some time to kill, so I'm like, okay, I want to go see this. Now, I was planning on seeing an IMAX 3D for their full immersive experience, is what they want. The problem was, Valerian was supposed to come out, I think, a month ago or so, and it came out now the same week as Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, which had taken up the spot in IMAX theaters. So it wasn't able to go to IMAX theaters. And when I got there to the theater, the closest showing wasn't in 3D. So I saw it 2D in a regular theater. Still, it looked gorgeous. The colors, the special effects, it looked gorgeous. You can definitely see where the money went into it all. I can only imagine what it would have been like if I saw it in 3D, especially IMAX 3D. I think it would have been more subversive and probably would have been a lot cooler. But so from my perspective, I'm a big story guy. I want to know about the story. I want to know about the characters. I want to feel the characters. And I felt like that's really where it lacked. The story was pretty on the surface, I guess. It's takes place in this place called Alpha, where after so many years, a bunch of life forms, or 1,000 life forms, I guess you could say, have come together and kind of are living harmlessly, sharing their knowledge and, creating this almost utopia style place. So we have these two government agents. They're, the Federation of Human something or other. No, they're government agents named Valerian and Lorelai, played by Dane DeHaan and Cara Delevingne. So Dane DeHaan, you might know him most well from The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where he played Harry Osborn. I know we'd all like to forget about that movie, but it did happen. And then Cara Delevingne, you might have seen her in last year's Suicide Squad, where she played the Enchantress. Now, these two actors, I thought they were fine. To me, it was going to rest on these two shoulders because they're the two main stars. They've got to have that snap, crackle, and pop with their flirtation and their characters. And to be honestly, that's where the film fell flat. The story-wise was pretty simple. Like I said, they're investigating this alien race that's kind of in Alpha. They come to find out their planet's been exterminated, and they're just trying to live their life, but it's a big government cover-up. Pretty simple, not out of the ordinary as far as story-wise. But what really fell short was the chemistry between DeHaan and Delevingne. And sadly, I thought Delevingne, who is a less experienced thespian, did a better job. I thought she played her part very well. Dan DeHaan, he didn't have that crackle, that I want to say charisma to him. Kind of like Chris Pratt in Star-Lord. Okay, I'm going to compare this to Guardians of the Galaxy quite a bit, so just bear with me on this. Dan DeHaan's character, Valerian, when we meet him and Lorelai are talking about how he's a bit of a womanizer. He's got, lots of girls, a playlist, so to speak, and he wants to settle down with Lorelai because he's in love with her, but we don't see it. Like, you can tell me, oh, he's got lots of conquest. Show me at least one conquest. Like in Guardians of the Galaxy, Christopher Pratt kind of gets a thing for Zoe Saldana's character, what's her name, Gamora. And you kind of see liking her, which continues in the second film. But at the beginning of the first film, we see he's got this girl on a ship who we can't even remember his name. They should have something like that for the Valerian character to, again, kind of show me what he's like, show me his personality. Don't just tell me, show me. The two characters, they did not have that good of chemistry. That's kind of where I think it would have, immensely helped the film if these two had a, better chemistry and said their lines, I guess, a little more snappy, so to speak. The way DeHaan delivered his lines, it didn't come off as cool. It was very stoic, and I just didn't believe it. I didn't like the character, I guess, is what I'm saying. He didn't come across as a guy I'd want to go have a beer with, and I didn't believe that he was this hot shot, ladies' man, fighting aliens and going around being cool all around the galaxy. I didn't buy it. And that's, when your main character is like you don't buy into him, then I think your film's going to fall short. Now, the film was directed by Luc Besson, who is the French director who brought us The Fifth Element, which I think is a fine film. I don't love it. Lisa, my wife, loves that movie. I think it's okay. I'm not a big fan of it. And then he brought us Lucy with Scarlett Johansson a couple years back, which is another film that I think fell short than what it should have been. So he also did The Professional, I believe, too. Let me look it up. I think he did The Professional with Natalie Portman, I believe. Yes, he did. So again, another fine film, fine director. With something like this, I know it's kind of a passion project of his. Being a Frenchman, he grew up on this and wanted to do it. At the end of the film, there's actually a little tag that says "For my dad." So, kind of his father, getting him into this storyline, I think, is what he's trying to give a nod to in this scenario. But the film, like I said, it had beautiful visuals. The main characters were just falling a little flat as far as their chemistry, and I think that's a majority of what happened. Now, the supporting characters weren't too bad. Probably the highlighting supporting characters were these three little aliens. I forget what their names were, but they were like all of one mind. They were finishing other sentences, and they were, rats. Snitches, whatever. These were the guys that when Valerian and Lorelai needed information, they came to these guys, they threatened them until they gave up the goods because they apparently know lots of stuff. But of course, they always want payment. They were pretty entertaining, actually. I thought they fit well in the film. I thought they were digitally done very well. No problem there. The other side character that I think you had to latch onto a little bit to believe in this world was Rihanna's character. Now, she played a shape shifting character called Bubble. There was a point of the film where Bubble was in distress. I don't want to give too much away, but her character was in distress, and you should have felt some kind of sadness for her, having known her for the last, 30, 40 minutes of the film. When that moment came, I felt nothing. And it was in that moment of the movie that I realized this movie doesn't work. If you don't feel for the characters, not only the main characters, but also the supporting characters, if you're not attached to them when something sad happens, or you feel a little bit of it, it doesn't work. So it was at that point in the movie that I was like, okay, I'm done with this movie. Yeah, I'll stay till the end and watch it, but it didn't hook me. It didn't hook me, and that's kind of where I fell short. One person I did enjoy seeing it with Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, when he being one of my favorite actors, going way back to Dead Poet Society. I mean, Explorers back in the day. It was interesting. He played kind of a different character than what he's used to playing. Usually, he's a more somber, almost moody type character. This, he was almost like an intergalactic pimp, kind of, in his own. So it was interesting to see him in that different kind of role. We also had Clive Owen in the movie, who played Commander Flynn, and I like Clive Owen. I think he's been in a lot of good things. I think he's a good actor. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does, but again, just wasn't in enough of the film to make it work, and his part kind of fell flat. Again, this is just it's a beautiful looking movie. I love the concepts of it too. The world they've created is so great, especially at the beginning. You go Lorelai and Valerian go on a mission where they're going to this planet or this area which is all kind of just dusk and desert. But what it really is a tourist market where tourists have to put on special headsets and equipment to go to that same spot in a different dimension, which is a busy marketplace, actually. And that's pretty cool, because then they had to steal something from the other dimension and bring it back over using special equipment. Of course, they ran into trouble. The way they played all that out was very interesting, and I liked the concept of it. I thought that it was all pretty cool. Again, the world, the visuals, it was all very good. It was just, to me, the acting that really fell short, that pulled me in and made me believe. Also, it was just the way the lines were delivered. That's what fell short for me, guys. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Daniel Dehan, Cara Delevingne, Rihanna, those three I felt should have been more charismatic or a little more animated, I guess, and they weren't. Cara Delevingne, probably out of the three, was the better of the three. And you know what? To be honest, I find her attractive. I don't know why. Most people say she's not. Some people say she is. She's a model. I find her attractive, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, again, it's the acting that really took me out of this film. Do I recommend going to see this movie? Honestly, no. I mean, it would look great on a big screen, and if it was just a little bit better, I would recommend going to see it on the big screen just for the spectacle of it all. But I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the story. So the rest of it, the trimming, so to speak, as the visuals, are kind of a waste, which is a bummer. I think this film really could have been something had it gotten the right cast, had it gotten, maybe in a little better of script with better dialogue. I think it could have been something, but in the end, it falls flat. Now, like I said, it hasn't come out foreignly yet, so we don't know what it's going to do. Usually overseas, especially in like China and stuff, these films usually do a little better. Look at the Transformers franchise. It's been dwindling here domestically, but overseas it's been going up because they like the spectacle films. So this movie still yet might make its money back. Like I said, it is costs 177 million to make. A studio will usually spend half of that budget on marketing, or that budget plus half. So essentially, 250 is probably what it spent for marketing and production. So I think for a movie to be successful, it's got to make at least twice what it cost. So this movie has to make about $400 million altogether for me to consider it a success, or it's got to make almost $300 million just to break even. I don't think it's going to get there, but, who knows? The foreign markets may surprise me. We'll wait and see. Going back to marketing for a minute, I don't think the film was marketed well, too, because when I walked out of the movie, I went to go have a burger and a beer, and the guy's like, the bartender's like, hey, what'd you go see? I was like, saw Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets. He's like, what? What was that? And then I had my Lyft come pick me up, and I told the driver I went and saw a movie. The driver's like, what'd you go see? Valerian in the City of 1,000 Planets. What? Nobody knew about this movie. That's part of the problem, too. I felt like I knew it was marketed. I've been watching this film for, almost 6 months at least, but the regular general public did not know about it. And it's sad, too, because I think the general public might actually have, liked it more than, say, someone who's a little more critical than I am, but they didn't know about it. So it's kind of sad. They probably didn't spend a lot of money on marketing. Sometimes they do that just because they know the product's not that great and they don't want to put more money into it. And anyway, I felt like this is a film that could have profited more from better marketing, but also the fact that they moved it was a big mistake. The fact that they moved the release date to go right against Christopher Nolan's Dunkirk, and that it didn't go into IMAX theaters, I think is a huge reason why this film is not doing better, because it does look beautiful. It's a beautiful look, film, and the visuals are great. But if you were to see an IMAX 3D, I think you get a lot more out of this film. But it's not being allowed to show them that way, so I think it falls flat. So that's my opinion, guys. So hopefully by now you've seen Valerian, because otherwise you just heard me talk about a couple of spoilers. But now I want to know what you guys think. Hit me up, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? Who do you think would be a better cast, actually? If you were to cast Valerian and Lorelei, who do you think would be a better, duo to have led this film? Let me know what you think, guys. Also, hit me up on the Facebook group or on Twitter. Find me personally at Dayspring Discussions. And then, of course, Slim Dayspring 12 on Instagram. So that's going to be it for me right now, guys. I am going to put up, hopefully, a short little blog later on in regards to my pick of the week, comic pick of the week, that is. I just have to go through and finish reading the titles, and then I'll get that up. And then I'm hoping maybe today or tomorrow I can bring in our Doctor Who expert, Lourdes Manning, to talk Doctor Who Comic-Con panel, as well as the new Christmas trailer, and of course the Doctor Who casting. And then Lisa and I are, sometime before the week is over, is going to try to finish off our San Diego Comic-Con coverage with getting to the DC panel and all the news that came out of that as well. So that's it for me, guys. Until next time, may the Force be with us all.